just what I'm hearing. It's so much pressure on parents, isn't it? Which is, but there's just so many parents that aren't able to do that. It's terrifying. But that's when you guys wrap around for the parents.
We can, but I think too though, it's back to that community. It's a community issue, and so as a community, it's like we need to be looking at screen time as a whole, not just these isolated cases of like
screen, just in general that routine stuff.
And I mean, if you look at like schools, how across Aotearoa schools have banned phones, that is going to be a positive move in the very near future. Like you're at least protecting kids' time away from screens during that time. And so it's like, how do we get the messaging out that as a whole this needs to happen, as opposed to saying, hey, you family, you're doing too much screen time, because that doesn't work. That's deficit based. That's like pointing the finger, and it's not going to yield positive results.
We're having an screen conversation earlier about how this is like a generational thing. You've got to break the cycle because your parents might be, staying up late and partying with having their friends over at 10 while you're trying to sleep for school, and that's setting you up for failure. And then you as a kid grow up to do the same thing, and it's going to affect your jobs and your success in life, and you've almost got to be the one that breaks the cycle, don't you? And that's kind of something that you said that really got through to me earlier. I think that it all comes down to routine and setting our kids up for success.
And I think because we see it a lot in some of our cases, that they come through to us, and it's like massive generational trauma, their own experience with their parents, so it does really require that full wraparound support for their whānau, because you're protecting their child. Go to school, get an education, do well. You've got the skill set and ability to do it. Believe in yourself. So I think a lot of it is what we do see is around that. Some of it is generational, whether it's trauma from culture, trauma from their own experience with school, or there's a range of different things. But sometimes it can be quite challenging. And when it comes to that routine, be creative. Like I know when I started with my son, it was a sticker chart. Like it's just using little things that they're interested in, and there might have been a little reward at the end of it, but it's just get creative and fun for your child. Like I think a lot of us, when we work and become busy, we don't necessarily spend that one-on-one time with our child. Be on the ground, do funny things, do silly things, colour, like just really embrace the child, because I feel like this day our kids are growing up way too fast. They're not getting to experience the childhood that maybe we got to experience when we were younger, with social media and everything that's going around currently. So I think it's just really embracing them where they're at and how old they are. Just is key.
That routine piece too is so interesting, because kids on the face value of it, you're like, oh, they don't need routine, they're kids. But routine is key, because routine is safety. And kids want to feel safe. So if you have that safe routine at home, that safe routine falls into school as well, and it's just going to lead to like a really strong school record in general.
It's not just kids though; it's adults that love routine. We all love routine, and we love to know.
Thrive off it.
I've got to get up at 6 o'clock to go to work and do that. And then if that routine's coming in, some of those parents that might have a bit of anxiety, once that routine sets in for them, it alleviates some of that. And so those routines are really good for everybody, not just the children. And on the reward thing, the best reward you can give your children is time. That one-on-one time. I took all my children on a road trip, each boy individually on a road trip, one-on-one time, as they were going into their teenage years. It was the best thing I ever did as a parent. And it cost me a little bit of time going for a little bit of a road trip, camping out, staying out, and doing things. It's that one-on-one. And just how can I find 5 minutes one-on-one with Johnny or Fred? And it might be just as part of the routine that when you put them to bed, you have 5 minutes to read a story or tell them a story, give them some of their whakapapa. Do something that just gives them that little bit of one-on-one time. And it only has to be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long.